Whoa.
There's no.
Come on, chat.
Huh?
Giri doesn't VTube to hide her wrinkles. She does it to hide her whole face.
What is going on today? Hi everybody, welcome back to the episode of Giri's Kitchen. This week we're going to be making pork buns just because I want to eat it. No really special reason behind it. It's my first time making it by myself. I have made it with my mom before, but this is my first time soloing it. I hope it turns out well, and I can't wait to share it with you. So let's just jump into the cooking. Okay, I hope I have enough flour for this. 2 cups of flour and half a tablespoon of yeast, which is, I don't know, this much. Sugar. And I have warm water here. Warm water will help the sugar and the yeast dissolve a little bit. And for my yeast, I don't have to let it sit in warm water and activate because mine is instant dry yeast. Mine isn't just regular dry yeast. And I think it works better so you don't have to wait for it to warm up. Okay, and then you just mix it. That's it. Easy. Let me show you guys how I'm kneading the dough really quickly. Put into a shaggy dough with my chopsticks. I swooshed it around, and then once I punch it into like somewhat of a dough, and then you just grab the edge of the dough, and then you push inwards. So you fold it inside, and then you use the back of your hand, and then you push outwards. So you're bringing the dough in, and you're pushing outwards to kind of give it a little bit of that gluten development. And just go in circles. Okay, my dough ball. Not the smoothest, but it's acceptable. So we're gonna put this in my proofer now. If you don't have a proofer, just put it somewhere warm, especially it's like summertime now, springtime. It shouldn't be that difficult to find a warm spot, or just put a bowl of really hot water in an oven and close the door. Don't turn the oven on, just close the door. And the natural heat that comes off of the steam can also proof your dough quite nicely. I'm gonna cover it with saran wrap, throwing it into the proofer for about 45 minutes, or doubled generally. We're gonna do another prep process before we start making the filling and everything. So we're gonna grab, can I teach you how to make chat? I'm making the flavored water, so to speak, for the meat. So I have a little bit of like aromatics in there, and it's not just water. You can use water for this step. If you don't want to do all of this, you can just use regular water.
Is that why you go to tubing, is to hide the wrinkles? Noted.
Shut the f up. Okay, I don't VTube to hide wrinkles. Okay, I'm just gonna turn the heat on medium, and we're gonna toast this a little bit. Get a little bit of the flavor out. So there's no.
Come on, chat.
Huh?
Giri doesn't VTube to hide her wrinkles. She does it to hide her whole face.
What is going on today? I'm gonna get some water. I'm gonna boil the water. Oh, crackly. Hot pan. Hot pan. Boil the water. We're gonna put it in here. I'm going to put this in my spices so it can steep like tea. Just a little bit. I don't think you need all of it. This is just the flavored water that's gonna go for the filling. I have Napa cabbage. The beautiful thing about like pork buns or whatever is that it doesn't actually have to be pork. It can be literally whatever filling you want. If you're vegan, vegetarian, you can change it to egg, tofu. Firm tofu I do recommend, okay? But I'm just gonna chop my cabbage. If you have a food processor, this will go by a lot quicker. But I'm just gonna show you guys how we do it at home, okay? I cut the lettuce one way, and then I'm just gonna roughly chop it the other way. So it's roughly small-ish, and then once we go through that, I'm gonna grab another knife. We're gonna use 2 knives now. You grab your 2 cleavers, okay? You grab your 2 knives, and I just go like this. It's a little bit of a messy process, but all you do is just you grab your 2 knives, and then you just kind of go through it and chop it as small as you can. This is what I have. You want to put this into another mixing bowl because we're going to be doing some stuff to this cabbage. I want to do a little bit of salt, just a little bit. You don't need too much because the meat will be seasoned as well. But the salt is actually going to draw out some extra moisture from the cabbage, and we don't want the extra moisture in there. We want to control the moisture, and we also want to replace it with something more flavorful. So that's why we're trying to take out the extra wetness from the cabbage. All right, we're gonna let that sit. Don't touch it, but we're gonna wait until all the water comes out, and I'm going to season the meat. All right, I have pork, just ground pork, okay, basic ass pork, nothing wrong with pork. We're gonna season the pork. We're gonna do dark soy sauce, just a little bit for a little bit of color. Okay, we're gonna do with Maggi sauce. You can do soy sauce, that's totally fine. White pepper. All right, and then extra special ingredients to make your meat taste extra juicy, Chad, okay? If you ever have a girl over and you're trying to impress her and you want your meat to taste real good, like she can't get enough of that meat, chicken powder and MSG. So a little bit of salt, we don't need too much. Just, I don't know, sprinkle it. still a little frozen on the inside. It's gonna marinate. We're not done with it yet. The filling is not done. This is just step 1 and step 2. There's gonna be a few other steps later on. I'm gonna give my dough a little extra time to do the first rise. I think I need another 15 minutes or so, so I guess in the meantime, we can prep all the other veggies. Ignore how limp my green onions are. So I washed them. They're looking a little gnarly, okay? Try to use fresh green onions if you can. So we're just gonna cut for unlimping your green onion. Okay, I'm gonna pour it in here. Okay, and then I'm going to shave my ginger. Just grab any knife, cut off the dull end. Use my spoon and shave my ginger a little bit. I'm gonna grab a zester. I'm gonna mince some garlic as well. You can mince it on a table. I'm just gonna grate it. I like how it kind of makes everything kind of juicy. So we're just gonna mince as much garlic as you want. All right, I'm gonna BRB. Let me check if my dough is good.
12 seconds later.
Oh, that's a nice fermented dough. It's got a hole in there. Okay, punch it in. I'm just kneading it a little bit again, just to make it a little bit more smoother, a little bit more gluten development, and we're gonna let that do a second rise. The second time, you don't have to knead it like crazy, just a little bit. Again, stop your dough for good measure, cover it back up, put it back into your proofer for another 30 minutes or so. All right, the cabbage has been stewing in the salt for a little bit, so we're going to squeeze the water out. Crucial step. I would highly recommend that you don't skip this. If you are lazy, you can, but it's better to kind of replace the flavor of cabbage with flavored water. So you're gonna get your little gauze thing, and then you're just gonna grab a handful of cabbage that's been soaking in the salted water, and then put it over your bowl. You want your bowl of meat ready and your bowl of cabbage, and then you're just gonna make it into a little parcel. Okay, you want to twist your cabbage ball, and then you want to squeeze. See all this? All that liquid? That could have ended up in your pork, and you don't want that. All right, you take your little cabbage bowl, and then you just put it back in your filling. We're gonna mix everything with our hands. Hands are better in the long run, I think. It's just easier. The trick to making your meat really juicy and really flavorful is to add liquids back in. You can use water, you can use chicken stock, you can use beef stock if you're using like a beef base or whatever, but I'm going to use a spice base, which is the one that we made earlier. Cooking wine will help with some of that meaty flavor that you might not like, just to give your meat a little bit of a nicer, more pleasant taste. Sometimes the meat could taste like too meaty, you know? So just a little splash of cooking wine, Chinese cooking wine. Mix that thoroughly. Okay, in one direction. So we didn't add any water yet, so we're gonna add some water. This cool down as well. Don't put hot water in your cold meat, obviously. Use your brain. But we're gonna add in little by little, not too much. You want your meat to drink this shit up. I don't actually know how much water you need as far as measurements go, because you know, meat or the stuffing ratios can be different, but generally you want it to be nice and soft and kind of gooey almost. And so after you're steaming it, all the water comes out of your meat and it makes your dumplings or buns like really, really soupy. See how it's getting a little stringy? Normally it would be like, you know, clumpy, but now we can see how it's like kind of stringy a little bit. And that's what we want. At the very end, we're gonna add a little bit of sesame oil to soak in, or what is it called, lock in the moisture. Missing one important step before I get the dough. One important step, we gotta prep the liner. Because I don't really know exactly how big the buns will be, I'm just gonna make a liner the size of the actual circle. So I'll show you guys how to do that. All right, I have one piece of parchment paper. You wanna obviously make sure your one piece is big enough for the actual size of the pan. I'm gonna fold it in half. It's like grade school where you have to make like the snowflakes. Exactly like that. So you fold it in half, fold it in half again. Okay, make sure your corner is nice and tight. And then you want to fold it in half again to make a triangle, okay? So you want to go make it into a triangle, keeping the same consistent corner, all right? Then you fold it again. You fold it again. Okay, then you do it again until you get this like thing here. Okay, you keep folding it until you get this. Place it in the middle. You want to cut the radius length of the circle, not the diameter, the radius. And then using your scissors, We cut it into the radius of the actual circle itself, so when we open it up, it'll be big enough, but we're not done yet. Obviously, when we're seaming, we want seam to pass through different layers, especially when it's going to be covered with buns. So on the edge that's like folded, not the loose edge where it's like open, the edge that's folded, you want to just cut some little triangles out. It can be different sizes, it can be whatever you want. Just cut the little tip off, just so you make a little triangle. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. Wait, ignore this part. Generally, that's not bad. Okay, I'm gonna turn my proofer off. My dough has risen a second time. All right, I'm gonna work with half first. I think, or should I just make it into a log now? What do you think? Should I make it into a log now? This is really fat though. I have my other half that I'm gonna cover with saran wrap because we don't need it right now. We're gonna work with half of it first, and we're gonna just choke out your dough a little bit and make sure it's nice and long, like a fat long. All right, like this. We don't want it too thin because we are making buns. We're not making dumplings. If it's dumplings, it'll be a lot thinner. And I think we can make about 8 or 9 of these. I split it in half already, so I'm just gonna wing it. And then we're gonna grab our flour. Dust our dough balls. I made it into a ball, and then I'm just gonna flatten it out a little bit. I'll keep the nice, beautiful flat side on the bottom, and I'm just gonna dust both sides with flour, just slightly. And then use your rolling pin. You wanna roll it out into a circle first. If it's sticking to your rolling pin a little bit, dust your rolling pin.
Whoa.
And then roll it out until it's a nice big circle. And once it's like thin-ish, but not really, this is still quite thick, you can stop, and then you're gonna do the whole dumpling procedure again, where you roll up halfway, stop, turn, and roll up halfway again. You wanna make sure the middle of the wrapper is a little bit thicker and the edges are a little bit thinner, so it'll be easier for you to pleat, and also the stuffing won't leak out in the middle. You take your dumpling skin, you grab a big old bunch of it. Ooh. A nice big glob of it. Okay, I'm gonna show you how to pleat now, okay? So we're gonna pinch the dough with 2 hands, and then without lifting your thumb will stay there. You want to pinch with your index finger, and using your hands, like using your fingers on the back here, you want to slowly push more dough into your other finger, and you can use your thumb to push the meat down if it's kind of like popping up a little bit. So you want to keep it down, and then you want to keep, you can yoink at the skin as well a little bit, and then you want to keep turning, and then you want to just like pinch off the rest, and it has a little lip there. Okay, not the prettiest, that's not too bad. I hope my mom's proud of me. Once this video comes out, she better be like, oh my god, daughter, you did such a good job, daughter. Very proud, daughter. Do you think my mom will be proud of me? Normally you would get like a steamer pot or whatever. My steamer pot is like this tall, so once I add the steamer tray on top of it, it's going to be way too tall, and I don't want steam directly blasting into the camera. So instead, I just have like a shallow pan, but we're going to fill it all the way to the brim because there's a little bit of leeway under the steamer as well, a little bit of height. So we're going to steam it on this. I have it not to the brim, but almost, and I'm going to put this right on top. And now, starting from cold, there's a reason why I didn't pre-boil the water. We want to start heating the water up from cold, and I'm going to put it on medium-high. Maybe medium later on when it starts boiling. And the reason is, as the water is gently heating up, it'll act as a stirred proof for the bun, so it can help rise and make it a little bit bigger while it's heating up in general, so you don't have to like rise it separately again, if that makes any sense. So that's why we're going to start from cold water, and then we're going to from cold water now set a timer for 25 minutes, and after it's done, let me know, or I'm going to cut the heat off. And do not, whatever you do, for the love of God, do not open the lid right away. You want to let it just sit in the heat with the heat off for another 5 minutes or so.
20 minutes later.
Oh, 25 minutes are over? Okay. Heat off. Let me see how the buns are. Either they're really good or they're still raw. Are you guys ready? I'm nervous. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Wait, it turned out kind of good. Let's see if it's juicy, and let's see if it's cooked through. Oh, have mercy. Ooh. Ooh, the dough has soaked up all the juice. I want to see if it's like cooked in the middle. Oh, it's cooked. It's cooked, Chad. It's fully cooked. I'm gonna try a little bit though. It's good. Oni bro, come here and eat it. All right, we're gonna wait for Oni bro's reaction first. He ate it. He's thinking about it. He's eating it. A 7 out of 10. He did not just say that. And here we have our completed dish. We made steamed buns from scratch, the dough and the filling. I think it turned out pretty good for a first time trying it from scratch. I definitely have a lot to ask my mom and how I can polish up. But as far as the first time goes, I'm not too ashamed to show my mom. And I think it tastes very yummy. It's definitely very flavorful, like a warm hug. So if you ever try it, please let me know if it turned out well for you. I'm actually really keen to see if you guys like it or not. But thank you for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, notification bell, all those wonderful things. What is your comfort meal that reminds you of home? I would love to know. Leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, everyone. Bye. I don't give a shit about your immersion, chat. This is the most immersive you can get with a 3D model. I mean, sorry, a 2D model that cooks, okay? That looks like this. What do you want from me, chat?